Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, October 2nd, 2023. Yep, September is officially over. Fall, yeah, it's here. It is here. Hope you all are doing well, and I appreciate you being here and participating in this live stream. If I have any new viewers, welcome. We're going to go through all that later on, but I appreciate you showing up as well. And if you are a new viewer, I ask that you participate with this. Now, generally, we talk about classic cars, focusing on cars from the, let's say, mid 50s up into late 70s, let's say. And a lot of it has to do with Mustangs, but we also talk about Camaros and Buicks and Studebakers and Oldsmobiles and whatever there may be. So we welcome conversation and comments. And I do have the chat set to subscribers only. So if you are going to participate, you need to be subscribed to my channel, I think for at least 5 minutes. And then, we'll let you get on and do your thing. As you can see behind me, I have the Cobra Jet sitting turned around from what it has normally been sitting. I've been working on the wheel houses, of course, and the driver's side. You already know it's welded in. And I'm almost to the point of having the passenger side piece, the main wheelhouse section, welded in as well. So we're doing that, and we're also test fitting some things. So along with these pieces, I'm sure you saw the video where we had a Mustang Stafir roll bar, or Shelby style roll bar, that Charles had bought, and it didn't fit. And it will never fit with that design. Now, the design could easily be improved upon, and I know Mustang Stafir, I'm sure they weren't happy to see that, but I actually talked to their main tech guy, talked to him on the phone, and said, it is what it is. I'm not going to tell people, yeah, this is a fantastic thing, and then not, then it not be, let's say. So they told me that they were grateful or thankful that I made that video, because it opens their eyes to what is a problem or a future problem. So it could be an anomaly that roll bar just wasn't made right, and we happened to end up with it. They did point out that they had not put one of those roll bars in a car personally, at their shop or anything, in at least 6 years. And these were on the shelf, and they're now starting to sell these or get rid of, sell them off. And there was a potential they were going to order another batch from this company, and now they see the problem. They're going to, I think, either order another bar. I think that was in the initial conversation, or they may do a complete redesign. I don't know which. We're not worried about it at this point. It's not ready to be put in, but that's the value of doing a test fit and making sure pieces align and fit, because once you start getting to the point where you're welding stuff in place, you really have a hard time turning around and going, oh, let me change that and fix this mistake. I also did stuff like this with the Bronco project. For those of you that have seen that Bronco that I did, another shop had built the body for that, and they did not do things right. They made mistakes, and when I got a hold of it, I had to undo their mistakes and fix it. And granted, they were not necessarily happy that I showed that stuff, but that's the reality of it. If you don't do your job right, and it's going to affect something else down the road, people need to know about it. And they also have changed their procedures. They created a better checklist for themselves when they do something to, verify that it's done and it's done correctly. And they also said they're not going to try to rush to put out as many new bodies as they were before. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news in those instances, but that's just how it works. I have a sneeze. I feel a sneeze coming on. I'm trying to avoid it. So, again, if you're new here, I appreciate you. Please, by all means, get involved. If you're just been following along and you haven't participated at all, just give a shout out. Let us know you're here. So, first one in tonight is Crash Rider. Let me click on that, please. There we go. Crash Rider says, greetings from a really nice day in southern Indiana. Been having some internet problems, so hope I stay connected. Please leave a like for the DOG, the Duke of Georgia, Joe Daddy. Thank you, Crash Rider. Yes, hope you were able to maintain being here. Yeah, oh, by the way, you get a bell. Yeah. Just a reward that you get for participating. Terry Keithley, Evening Barry, and everyone, please hit the like and thumbs up. Thank you kindly. Good vibes. Yes. I'm guessing good vibes is probably on your, like the little icon or something, a little, you know what I mean, emoji thing. But it comes up here. It says it instead of actually making it. So glad you're here, Terry. Rick Gain, welcome to October. Like and thumbs up the video. Let's all enjoy a couple hours of good conversation. And don't forget our Junkyard story. Well, we'll see if I can pull that off. See if I can come up with something. Dave Tyson, good evening all. Evening, Dave. Glad you're here. Troy Justit, good evening all. Checking in from Florida tonight. I have been AWOL for the past 2 weeks, but I am back now. Awesome. Hope you're enjoying your time down in Florida. 68 Orange Crate. Howdy from somewhat cooler Houston. Okay, that's a plus. Yeah, we've been enjoying the weather. It was getting hot again, oddly enough. These past few days, the temperature, it was in the mid 80s. Today, I don't know what the high was, but it was 83, 84, 82 the next few days. But then Sunday and Monday, it drops down high of 68, low of 45. So, yeah, fall is here, but that's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Ed Cucciarella. Yeah, Ed has sent me a picture as well. Let me get that pulled up real quick. We get these updates from Ed on let me look here. From the California fuel prices. So there you go. $6.59 for regular unleaded. Yeah. That's fantastic. No. I don't even want to visit California for just because I'd have to pay for gas. Beautiful state, I'm sure. Beautiful oceans, all that stuff, but man, yep. There's a bell for Ed. If I didn't already give it. Hindsight 6-7. Roger checking in from next door. Glad you're here, Raj. And Roger and I have a trip coming up this weekend. Got to go get a car. Nandu, good evening all. Hope everyone is doing good. Glad you're here, Nandu. Robert, checking in. Infernal Craftsman. Evening all. Misery season has ended and summer started last week. Only mid-90s and might get a little cooler. And there's a chance of water falling from the sky. Okay. Glad you're here, Robert. C and J Hoyt. Hello on the 65, 66 Mustangs. Have you noticed a difference in front window thickness? That's a good question. And I'm going to say, are you comparing it to 65 to later cars, or are you comparing it original to aftermarket? Generally, the original windows are thicker. In the aftermarket, they don't make them as thick. So, if that's what you're referring to, that's what I see a difference in. So, good question. Anybody else have any input on that? Let us know. Richard Vogel, good evening, Barry. Great to see you. Well, glad you're here, Richard. I wish this was two-way so I could see everybody out there. Well, maybe. Maybe. Hope y'all are, decent. Not sitting around in your underwear watching this. But yes, glad you're here, Richard. Larry Bibby. Hi all. Hi Larry. Glad you're here. Mike Wenshow. Mike from Cleveland, Ohio. Ohio. How are you? I'm good, Mike. Glad you're here as well. Yeah. Let's see what else. Steve Reed. Hello, Joe Daddy, and everyone from Paducah, Kentucky. I just like saying Paducah. Glad you're here, Steve. Jerry is checking in. Hi, Barry. How do y'all? I don't have much to add. Robert is still grouchy. I hope y'all have a wonderful stream. Thank you, Jerry. And she also is talking to Mike. Okay. Evan's Garage. Whoops, here we go. He says, hey, Barry. Hey, all. Hey, Evan. Glad you're here. Rusty's Restoration. Good evening, all from a sunny southern Indiana. Thumbs up to Barry. Yes. Yeah, if you would, if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. Let YouTube know that this is an active thing and people are interested. It'd be nice to get more people involved and obviously have more questions and all that sort of thing to be part of the show. Steve Reed says it's 87 here in Paducah. Orange Crate, standard procedure and checklist. I wonder how much of your attention to detail is a function of career in aviation. Yeah, that is, pretty accurate. Now, what I was referring to is the other shop creating a more dedicated checklist sort of thing. I talked to the owner operator of that business, and they said, "Oh, we did this or we did that," and I said, "Well, maybe you should do this and kind of like create a sub list." Just kind of, and I mentioned that about the aircraft industry, so that you're, like airplanes come in for what they call letter checks. That's just one system they have where it comes in for the A check, the B check, the C check, D check, and there's a list over a certain period of time that, hey, this is the A check. You need to go through this and make sure everything's right. And then the next time it comes in for a visit, you check the B's and that sort of thing. But still, it's definitely aircraft related when you start thinking about this, and the fact that I do all this test fitting. Not that it's the same thing by any means, but it's similar. Of course, the only difference is the aircraft can't pull over to the side of the road when something's not working, and that's the critical point. But yeah, I do keep probably more of a mental checklist than anything else, but exactly that. So good call. Evan, I got my full floor fitted and then proceeded to notice my welding gas tank came loose from the welder and leaked half a tank into the air. Well, that's never good, but I'm glad you caught it. I don't know what your price for, gas, argon, CO2 is, if that's what you're using. But I know the price has gone up on that, so you don't want to lose that ever. Not like that anyway. Ed, come visit Southern California in the RV and fill up. No. I'll just do a drive-by. Steve Reed, new front windows are not as thick as the old ones. Yes. They definitely made a difference. Abdullah, the Dodge Viper is one of the greatest cars ever. I mean, yes, in a sense. I agree. I get that. I agree. For what it was made for, its purpose, yes. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Rusty sent some pics of mocking up the Speedster Fastback. Okay. I'll have to see if I can get those downloaded. I'll get a couple of those anyway. I might get all three. I'll have to see what I have available on my side list. So we've already shown Ed's insane gas prices. So I can get rid of that one. Got a few others here that we can get rid of that one too. Okay, so I'm gonna download a couple of those. And go back to the comments here. All right, we'll pull those up in a minute, Rusty or Russ. C&J, I have a 66 289 car and a 65 parts car that has a 6 in it. The 6-cylinder car front window is a lot thinner. That's interesting. I wonder if that was intentional though, or if that just happens to be that it's thinner. I don't think they would have gone out of their way to intentionally make a thinner windshield for those cars, whether it was a 6-cylinder or a V8. That's really not cost effective. But they may have. I don't know. Anybody else have any other input on that? By all means. Um, well, I have to delete another picture so I can get this other one. So Russ had sent these pictures of his Speedster, as he's calling it, and so that is a convertible, but with additional parts added in. And let me see if I can get this other picture. Might be a better angle. There we go. So he's mocking up what's going to go behind the seats to act as a shape, let's say, for the fiberglass, or for the, well, he said Speedster. So you can see where he's going with that. It's kind of like the Batmobile had the glass in the front that was shaped to match the driver and passenger. This is similar in that respect. So it's creating a back section to go behind the seat into the rear package shelf. Well, would be the back seat, not package shelf. So, and it has a removable top. So this is going to be like the Swiss Army Mustang. It's going to have all kinds of different features to it. Thanks for sharing that, Russ. Mike, what color will the Mustang be? Well, it's going to be a blue. My understanding, it's going to be a blue kind of combination. So, I don't know if it's completely nailed down, as far as this car, but it'll be a blue, and we'll have more on that later on. Still, I don't plan to paint this car. That is not on my to-do list. As I've said before, paint is my number one stressor, and that's just not in my wheelhouse right now to do that. At least not on this car. Dawn's Manufacturer, hello from Soggy PDX. Have driven Betsy in the rain several times. Well, that's awesome. I guess. I hope. Glad to hear, Dawn. Nandu was in Ocala, Florida last week at the in-laws, and of course had to make the mandatory trip to NPD for some parts. That's a good call. Wait. Come on, Belle. There we go. Michael Pagliarini, hello all, getting some work done on the 65. That's a plus. Larry Bibby, I ran into thin windshield in the past, found out it was a cheap aftermarket windshield. That's more than my opinion as well, that it's not the original that would have been thinner. I can't see where they could say, well, make a special batch of thinner ones for the 6-cylinder cars. They just came down the assembly line and these guys just grabbed parts and put them on a car. I don't think they had a specific one for the 6-cylinder cars. Richard, will a Shelby roll bar fit Slither? Well, that's what we're working on. That's the last video I was working on, the Shelby style roll bar, and from Mustangs to Fear. And that one wouldn't fit anything, at least not the way it was configured. So they're working on a solution for that. May have to redesign, or they may redo their whole design, and we'll find out later when that is together, and it may end up sending us a newer version of that. I don't know yet. Russ, aftermarket glass is thinner. Yes. Steve Reed, my neighbor is a glass installer. He had 65 and 66 are the same in the old ones, and new ones are thinner. Yep. I'll try to say that. Bien vivido, Cordoba. Let's see. Something number of chassis. Something Mustang, the 67 Mustang. What is a number? Vent. I'm gonna have to have somebody. I can't translate that on the fly. I tried. The chassis of, I don't know what Derico means, of the yeah. Somebody have to help me out on that. Sorry, man. I don't really do Spanish, but we'll find out. Rick, what's the status with the 69 you were talking about picking up? The plan is to get it this coming Saturday. That's the plan. I'm 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 excited. I really am. You can tell. This is how I look when I'm excited. I am excited, and right now I'm just waiting for this week to get over with, so we can make the road trip. So Saturday morning we'll be getting up early and um, driving up to towards Charlotte area, and then get there. Hopefully, load everything on in one shot, and then head straight back. So it'll be a 5 to 6 hour drive getting there. Who knows how much time we'll spend actually loading it back up or loading it up and then heading right back. So things are lined up. Got the trailer ready to go, or a trailer scheduled that I can rent, and yeah. So hopefully everything goes smooth this coming Saturday. So if anybody's out in that area, I'm not going to say show up at this guy's place or anything, but you might see us going up and down the interstate with a fastback, Mach 1. So good question. Richard Roar, evening all. Glad you're here, Richard. Out here in the garage, joining you while replacing wire loom to tidy up underhood harness in a 68 or 88 Ford Mustang GT. Awesome, glad you're here. Out here in the garage. So Richard says, translation: welcome Cordoval. Want the name of the right side chassis of the 67 Mustang rear window. Yeah, I'm not sure. You're looking for the part number for the rear quarter window? Is that what we're getting to? I'm not sure. That's my guess. I wouldn't have that number available. We'd have to look it up. Robert says something about the right side number of the window. It doesn't translate well. Yeah. I usually go to Google Translate and copy and paste that stuff and just see what happens. But yeah. Bob, evening off from Oklahoma. What happened to last week's stream rebroadcast? Glad you asked, Bob. I locked it up, and I did it on purpose. And I apologize for doing that to everybody. I was excited about the Mach 1 project that'll be coming, and I posted pictures and stuff like that. And I didn't want it to create a problem. So, if it was like I just didn't want it to become a problem. Like if somebody had seen the pictures and said, "Oh, I know where that car is," that sort of thing. So that's why I put it to private. After I get the car, in my possession and all that stuff, I'll unlock that stream and just let it go. And then, but that's why I did that. I didn't want to jinx myself, so I just said, you know what? Let me just put the pause on that one for now and let it come up later. So that's why I did that. Sorry. Tony, I'm rebuilding a 64 Chevrolet pickup. Can you give me any advice on buying what I need? What brand should I get the parts for it? I haven't really done anything with a 64 pickup. In the past, I don't know who makes those parts. Like for like Chevy stuff like that, I would point towards Auto Metal Direct, AMD. Check with them first and see if they make the parts for that. Other than that, I really don't have an answer. Years ago, I would have said Goodmark Industries, but Goodmark has dropped the ball from what they started out as. They still make some good stuff, but they're not the same company that they used to be. So AMD would be my first check to see if they have it for that. The other side of that would be like what is it, Brothers, Chevy Truck Parts, I think Brothers. I can't remember all the names offhand at this point, but there's probably other manufacturers out there. You might even be able to source some, depending on what you need exactly, uh, from Summit Racing, stuff like that. They stock some parts like that. So I can't tell you which one is better than the other because I haven't put my hands on the 64 and done that kind of work. But again, the first thing I would look at is AMD and see what they say. Good question. Jordan, hey Barry, checking in. Heard my dad told you about my project I just bought the other day. Yes, we were talking about that. And I'm looking forward to eventually seeing pictures of it, I guess, and see what's going on with that car. That'll be a fun project. Glad you're here. We have a comment from Richard. Says Tony Martinez best is use good parts from Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, and otherwise AMD, etc. Yes, yeah. If you can get original parts, obviously that's the best choice. But if you have to go, aftermarket, then check AMD. So, thank you, Richard. Southern Trucks, Richard says Southern Trucks are normally rust free. Normally, depending on which part of the truck you're talking about. Yeah, most Southern trucks probably in the Southwest are very solid. Here in Georgia, we still have problems with some rust in those older designs because drainage was a problem. Cab corners always went because it collected junk in the cab corners and rain would just seep in and soak that, keep it wet all the time, and that was always a problem. So I would say the Southwest is probably your best choices for original parts. Harvey checking in. Hello, Barry. Just got home from a cruise with the boys. Happy Monday. Glad you're here, Harvey. Yeah, we were talking about some stuff. Harvey and I were talking. They picked up a Camaro that is going to be a cool project by the sounds of it. I don't know how long it had been sitting. I don't remember what the timeline was, but it's all taken apart, and they have to go through it and fix some things. And so they've been looking at some of my old videos that I did as reference points because, as Harvey pointed out, while the Mustang and the Camaro have similarities, they also have a ton of differences. The Camaro, of course, has a subframe that bolts on, where the Mustang, it's all welded together. It's got the front frame rails and torque boxes and all that sort of thing. So the structure is a lot different underneath the seat area in the front on a Camaro. It has to be a lot stronger to support that subframe because there's only like 4 bolts, I think, that hold the whole subframe onto the front of the car. So big difference there. Shannon, hi everyone, good to see you. I noticed a quarter panel vent hole behind you. I'm having trouble making my Dynacon quarter mounting and fitment of the scoop. Well, that's something we haven't run into just yet. So what is it? I mean, when you say it's not fitting, so it's not fitting in the opening like the original, or because it would overlap. I was looking at pictures the other day, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it kind of overlaps this outer perimeter here. But I don't think I have those pieces here. I don't think I do to test fit. So without having that or seeing what you got going on, it's kind of hard to give you any kind of advice on that. But I will need to resolve that on my own side if that's the case. So at least I'm glad you brought it up, but I don't have an easy answer for it. So if anybody else has messed with those, give us an answer or something. Yeah, because this one, we're still kind of in talks on this. We're still considering making these functional, like having. I guess we'll have the. I assume we'll have the insert. That's something we have to resolve that too, but we're talking about actually ducting this and having come down to the back wheels, so it has air coming onto the brakes. Now we'll see if we can get it all to work out. The problem we run into, the Shelby cars had that ducting put in, they didn't have mini tubs. So by widening the wheelhouses, you kind of give up space where you could actually put something in there. So it's going to take a little creativity if we make an actual duct that comes in. Excuse me. We could make the vent that goes to the wheelhouse itself and push air back, like kind of on top of the tire area. But we'll really have to play with it if we can create some sort of a duct that will come down and actually push on the brakes. So that'll be a challenge. Richard, ouch, that is a good point. Barry might need the owner to send those ASAP. Yeah. Well, they're not too far away. But I'll have to look around. I don't think I have those here. Because I know he had taken stuff with him to blast and clean up at his place. And I don't know if those, I don't think I have those. And I may not have the quarter extensions either. So, yeah. Okay, so Shannon says the contours and mounting hole. All right. Well, I know this one, we've got 4 mount holes. So the mounting hole shouldn't be that big of a concern. What you might want to do, if you can, is take the post out. If it's got the 4 posts that hold it on, if you could take those out of the assembly and then put it onto the quarter panel and get a look at it that way. So that way you're not fighting with 2 things at the same time. If you can get that zeroed out just by setting it up in there, then you can go on the inside and look and see where the hole comes out with the openings that are already here. And if you need to, you can modify that. And so you I'm just suggesting that. I don't know if you've done that already, but that's one way to make that fit up like that. So give that a shot. Clark Clifford. Save the neck for me, Clark. Glad you're here, Clark. One-Eyed Cat. Hello, peoples. I'm new here and thought I'd stop by. Well, welcome, One-Eyed Cat. Glad you're here. Richard, have you got any info on the issue with the driver's side quarter panel around the back window? Yeah, I've modified the that upper flange up here as we were talking about. I think I showed that in one of the. I think I showed that. Yeah, in the mini tub video on this side. I basically, it had that joggle, and I cut through the joggle and then unbent that flange and then rebent with a different approach so that it's all in one plane now. Yeah, so I did address that. Let's see, Jordan. Pictures coming your way of the 67 Camaro project. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a great project. It really does. Excuse me while I get some caffeine and coffee. Anyway, we're getting to the point now with this part of the project. Once I finish up the inner wheelhouse on the other side, it might be at a pause on the back half of the car. We're still in discussion as what we're going to do with the, if we're going to widen this at all, if we need to. So to figure that out, we're going to need more stuff. We need to get the tires and see how they play out. We're working on, Charles is working on another suspension system that will incorporate probably a Curry rear axle housing, and I forget what the name of the link is. This company's making this link. Let me see if I have that in an email quick. But they're not done building it yet, I think is where they're at. It's a 4-link, ultimate 4-link. Yeah, I don't remember the exact name of it. But anyway, we need to be mocking stuff up so we can figure out how much space we actually have, what kind of wheels and offset and all those sort of things. Because if we're good, then I can finish this part of it, weld it all in, make it solid. If not, then we have to go to another approach and figure out, do we really need, what are we going to have to do to widen this out? But that's where we're at right now on the back half of the car. So I'm probably going to have to turn things back around, go back to the front of the car, and work on getting in the firewall, the front frame rails, and also I need to mock up the frame connectors. I mentioned that before. I initially I was thinking I could put the frame connectors on, but if the welds or if the plates overlap the floor supports to where I can't get the frame rail in where it needs to be side welded, then I have to do the frame rail first and then the floor support. So just there's sequence scored, right? Yeah, yeah. You don't want to jump ahead on this stuff. Clark, what color blue is this car going to be? Well, you know what? Now I might have some samples, but again, this isn't on my list of. And I know the light's not going to show it right, so okay. But I know that Charles he's working with some different colors, so he says this, but this is like a tri-coat of some sort thing. So it's got I know you this looks it's a little brighter than Acapulco blue, but then it's going to have some sort of a tri-coat on top of that, and this doesn't really help you at all, but it looks like yeah. So picture that all together in your mind with clear coat on it, and then polished and buffed and all that sort of thing. But yeah, it's supposed this color is called True Blue. That's what is on the can. But this is also True Blue, but I think this is the mid coat. So I keep thinking that there was a skit on SNL where they had this woman with the tiny hands. I don't know if you ever saw it. Basically, the actress had these little baby doll hands in the sleeve of her dress, and she's like pretending she's got these little tiny hands. So those are tiny hands right now. Clark says, "Oh, so the color as jade? Yeah, no, not quite, because jade is green. Green, I say, it is green." One Eye Cat just got done with the floors in my '62 440 Valiant. It's nice having it back on the road again. Oh, I'll bet. I'll bet. '62 Valiant. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool car. Oh, we got the same. Okay, you repeated yourself there. That's okay. Ron Walker says hello. Hello, Ron. Glad you're here. But anyway, as I was saying, we're going to be putting in a kind of a I can't remember the name of the company. It's a 4-link suspension setup, I think, and I'm going to try to put. I actually have a Curry axle housing here with axles. So I think the plan is I'm going to assemble that and set it up underneath, the middle of the car here, and see what kind of dimensions that comes up with as far as backing plate space, where that's going to be, and if that is going to work or not. So there's again just a combination of things that have to happen to make everything work. Richard won't be as bad as spraying Ford's laser electric red. This is 3 color coats. Yeah, no. Well, that's what I said. I don't plan to paint this car because I probably can't. I don't want to paint this car. Paint stresses me out more than anything. More than anything. Terry, I need to sell my '78 XR7. Been in storage since 2008. Not a rust bucket. 54,000 original miles. $2,500. That seems reasonable. So it's a XR. Okay. So it's a Cougar, right? I mean, I know it says cat there, and maybe you're just subliminally typing cat. I'm guessing. But $2,500, that low miles, yeah, that's something you can clean up and just take to the cruise in. Be done. Not bad. Doyle, are you going to add material to the outer wheel wells for the wider tires? That is where we're at right now with how we're going to figure this out. Part of the plan, I think, like the wheelhouse itself, it tapers in really tight just inside of this, the arch. And when you think about the width of a tire, it's got to travel in that plane. And so if you have that real quick curve, that doesn't help. So one of the ideas that I have is I think I'm going to take the old, or well, I say old, the Dynacorn inner wheelhouse, what's left of it, and create a wider area using this, because the factory outer wheelhouse, it's kind of lumpy and curves in pretty quick. And I think I can modify with that piece and make a wider curve to give more space up inside there. And then the idea may be that we have to stretch it in the middle. So we're still in discussion on that, but we need to get the tires and see exactly how much space we have to work with. So we'll get there. Clark, the bit with the small hands, was a Lawrence Welk show. Yeah. She had little tiny hands. Yay. C&J. Okay, thanks, Barry. Or thanks all. Barry, why isn't your little dude sitting on the fender right behind you? Because he's sitting in another spot behind me. You just haven't found him. You got to know where to look. Jorge Sanchez. Hello, Barry, all gang. Well, hello, Jorge. Glad you're here. Haven't seen you in a while. CJ. Okay, I see him down inside the car. Oh, now you gave it away. Man. So, early on in the Cobra Jet project, we had saved the shock towers and the rear aprons, and all that stuff it's all sitting in the back in the paint booth area, actually. And so I'm going to have to mock everything back up again, take some measurements, make sure everything's square. The only real conflict or challenge, I think, is going to be the tranny tunnel. Because, I don't know, well, you probably can't see it. I got this light sitting up here. But right now the firewall is just, sitting in place. The cowl is sitting in place. And we're, going to use the bottom half of the Dynacorn firewall. But we also need to make that tranny tunnel bigger. And I know Charles is, we were looking at, I think Dynacorn sells a wider, taller transmission cross member. Unfortunately, I talked to a Dynacorn rep and they're on back order. Ta-da! So I have to figure that out as part of the process. I know we initially said he wanted to use the 10-speed automatic transmission that's out of a late model, Mustangs, but the people who are developing the controller for that apparently are not figuring it out. So there's a 6-speed available that is going to take the place at this point of that 10-speed, but we may build it to where it could take the 10-speed. So that's kind of where the thought process is right now. So we need to get the mock-up. We need to have something to put in place so that we know how big it is and how much space is going to be needed to, when you expand the tranny tunnel and the bracing and all that sort of thing. So that's also down the road. But I can get the frame rails in up front, and I can get the torque boxes. Well, no, maybe I can't yet. I'll have to see if I can do that. I don't know if I can put torque boxes in because I don't have the full firewall in place. So it's kind of one of those go this way, go that way a few times until you get centered up where you need it, Now, I know that Rick had asked for a Junkyard story, and I was thinking about that. I don't know if I have a good Junkyard story. Most of y'all have heard the Junkyard stories, and some of them are just, there's obviously some childhood memories and different things like that. One of the things that just popped into my head was how when me, my brother, and my sisters used to run around on occasion, I'll just say, here you go, Junkyard story time. Um, Now, remember that I'm the youngest of four siblings. So my brother was 6 years older than me. My sisters are 5 and 4 years older than me. So when it comes to doing activities, I'm on the backside of that. Like they're bigger, older, stronger, and that sort of thing. But one of the things that we all managed to kind of do together would be like, I don't know what you'd call it, like playing leapfrog on cars. And I don't know why this even popped into my head the other day. But we would literally, cars were, within a couple feet or a few feet of each other. And we would jump from car to car to car, deck lid or roof or whatever. And we used to have a lot of fun doing that. And I have a one, the difficulty was my siblings could jump a lot further than I could. So I always had to make extra effort to get from point A to point B in these car jumps and all this stuff. And we were doing this one night or one afternoon, and we're jumping these cars, and or jumping on these cars, and we were. I remember this one specifically because we were jumping on the roof of these cars. They were fairly close together, and my siblings were all boom, jumping and going to the next car, and I'm trying to keep up with them. Well, they were doing this on a convertible, and it was like I think it was a Mopar product, and I want to say it was probably early 60s, so it was 63, 64, maybe something like that, 65, maybe a little earlier than that. It might have been early 60s, and they would jump and keep going, and I'm trying to keep up. Well, I didn't realize what they knew was that there were rib structures, the cross bracing for the convertible top. And so they were jumping and landing on that and continuing on. I didn't know the difference. And I jumped and I landed in the middle of the roof and went straight through and ended up inside the car. And let me tell you, Dad was furious because that is not something you just fix. This car was still in good shape, and here I just jumped through the roof. So he's mad, but he couldn't really be mad at me. So he was mad at them because they, allowed me to make that mistake. And I don't know that we did much more car hopping after that. But that was a memory that popped up because it was, I remember going through the roof and coming up and having my arms get caught on the ribs, the structure there. And I think I ended up with some injury there from that. And that's really what led to my parents discovering, well, how did you get that injury? It was like, fell through the roof of a car. So, anyway, that's how it worked. Dawn looked back in the first Krusty video with the quarter vents is sitting on top of the recorder. She must have them there somewhere. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had them. I took them all out. But the owner Charles took a bunch of stuff with him to clean up. He has a media blaster at his home. And so he was going to clean up some of that stuff, which he did, by the way. I think I have, on the other side of the car, he brought me the door hinges. So I have those. But I'm pretty confident that he was going to clean up those pieces. And they may still be in Florida. So we'll figure it out. Shannon, now I know how my top got dented. Yeah. We were we made several mistakes doing stuff like that. I know that we didn't. For some reason, there's still. I've talked about it. I think there's an old bus up in the corner of the junkyard, and I mean like a '49 Ford or something. It had the big rounded fenders on it and stuff, and it was full of stuff. But it actually had. I think it had like a safety glass in the side windows, kind of the plastic like the windshield would have. And I don't know, we had quite the time throwing rocks and busting out all the windows on the side of that bus. Yeah, Dad was definitely not happy about that. Yeah, I don't know who took a beating for that, but it wasn't me. Just saying. Dave Britton, hi Barry and everyone. Hi Dave. Glad you're here. You might be the first Dave show up tonight. I don't think I've had another Dave yet. Usually Dave Conville is here by now. Nick Moss is here. Glad you're here, Nick. Give you a bell. He's got something else here. He says, can you show a video? Somehow I picked up my car. Still have to put up front and rear glass and stuff on, but I got a sweet shot of it in the sun with video. You could try to send that, but I don't know that I can actually put that on, at least not on the stream directly. It would end up being like my opener that I end up on there. So, but you can try to send it. Okay, let me see. Okay, so it's sent. All right. Let me pull some of this other stuff down because I got some pictures from either Harvey or Jordan. I'm not sure which of the Camaro project they picked up. So let's see. Will it pop up? Yeah. Check that out. Pull down next comment quick. Oh man. Yeah, that's a great project. I can already tell from looking at it, that's a great project right there. Let's see if I can get this other one. Yep, you're talking about the quarter panel needing redone, but wow, that looks like a very solid car, especially for being up north. A little bit of rust in the back, that's pretty minor. AMD makes great panels for that vehicle. Great panels. So yeah, you get some bells for that. Just finding that project. Let me see if I can. Let me give me just a second here if I can. Oh, maybe I can. Maybe I can. We'll find out here, Nick. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna have to delete some stuff to make room for it. Let's see if it'll let me do it now. Oh, it might do it, Nick. Now let's hope. Let me see if this will. That doesn't look like your car, Nick. Hold on a second. Okay, so I'm going to try this. It says it's only 6 seconds long, Nick. Is that what it is? 6 seconds before I click on that. I see a car in it. I just don't want it to be, I don't want to have the wrong video. Because this clip looks like it's not sitting outside. And I can't look at it. I don't think I can. It wants me to download it. Let's see if it'll let me preview it. It's not even, well, hold on. Okay. Okay, so that part worked. Let me see. I don't know why it's only showing a 6 second. I don't know what that doesn't make sense. I just downloaded. Hold on. Let me try this again. Oh, wait a minute. No, that should be. don't know why it's doing this. Hold on a second. Okay. Man, I don't know if I can pull it onto this. I'm trying, Nick, because I really would like to show that. Um, Man, hold on a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Because it's 10. It's not showing it. So apparently it didn't actually download it to a usable spot here. All right. All right. I'm trying. Because it's a very cool looking. See, it's showing that it downloads, but it sounds really good. But I don't know how to get it there. Let me delete that one. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's not showing. It's only showing some clips that I downloaded back last year. I want to show it, Nick. I don't know if I can. Nope, it's not showing it. Okay. Well, sorry. I'm trying, but I can't get it there. Oh, it was the wrong. I don't know. The video I had was of something else, but it's the right video. I just can't get it to import over here where I want it. And I hate to just sit here with dead air and not be able to show you, but you heard it. I guess you probably heard it. It's just idling there. Wayne, I recently bought back my 75 Duster. I already have a welder and grinders. What body specific tools should I get? Clamps, Clecos, and the like. Well, that's a good question. You're going to need a 4.5 inch grinder if if you already have that. That's great. Obviously, air tools, cut off wheels, all those sort of things. I don't know what all you have to do, but hammer and dolly, that's always handy to have that kit. I know I have one from Harbor Freight that was for doing putting on like door skins, so it has a nice shaped hammer that's pretty nice, and of course the dollies are good to use. But other than that, clamps is your biggest thing. Yeah, just buy a lot of clamps. Buy a lot of clamps. So, and tape measure. Make sure you measure everything. Take notes. But that's a good question. Glad you're here, Wayne. I don't know if that answers all your questions, but that's kind of where I see it from what I'm doing. Of course, drills and drill bits and all those other things. It would also help if you have a belt sander. I've shown it before. I've got a can't think of the brand from Harbor Freight. It's a like handheld belt sander, so it's real narrow. So it's really great for breaking spot welds out. So you might need one of those too. Very handy to have. Richard says, "Congrats, Nick." Yep. Clark says, "Red Dave update." Red Dave is probably going to get sold. Probably going to get sold. Probably. So, I may end up pulling a few parts off of it and putting it up for sale because the other car's coming, and I have too many cars. I have too many cars. Yeah. So the Mach 1 will be here this coming week. Yeah. And Anyway, all right. So, Nick, I know you sent it again. Let me see. I don't know how I can. How I can. I don't know. I can download it, and it says it's downloaded, but then I don't know where to put it. Okay, show in folder. What folder is it in? Ah, ah. Okay, let me try that. Let me try that. Maybe. Nope, that's not it. Ooh, there's some sort of owl outside. Um, hold on. I don't know if you heard that owl. That was a probably. I don't know if you can hear that. Roger could probably hear that thing. Um, ah, this is frustrating. No, I'm serious. Can you hear that? I'll open the garage door. See if it does it again. I've got several videos on here, but I don't see Nick's video. Hmm. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Nope. Okay. Let's see what else we have going on. Dave Tyson says me. I'm not sure what me is, Dave. Art Man. Hi, all. Been a while since I've made it. Glad you're here, Art. Jordan says it's definitely a solid car. Talking about the '67 Camaro that we were just showing earlier. But it does looks like it might have a little airbox. I might see a little rust down in that airbox, but that's all minor stuff. It has a 327 to go with it out of a 68 Impala and a 4-speed, which is awesome. Muncie, if I remember, you said that, or your dad said that, so that's a big plus. Have that Muncie 4-speed. Doyle, what is best used to plug larger holes in my trunk lid where the lower trim would have been? 7/16 diameter. Can I use washer? What do you recommend? 7/16. Yeah, that's a pretty good size hole. I have actually made plugs using my throatless shear. Just taking a flat piece of metal and just made a circle. I've done it before. Like take 7/16 is not very big, but I've used like a socket as a template, drawn a circle on a piece of metal, and then just cut it out with a throatless shear. And a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll tack weld a piece of metal to that plug so I can hold it, and then I'll put it in place and tack it in. So I'm not trying to hold that thing in there with my hands. I'll use like a piece of rod or something and just tack it on, tack it into place, and then grind it off. But yeah, I mean, a washer would work. It's a little thicker than your normal sheet metal. Most of it is. But yeah. Okay. Oh, awesome. Jeff, thank you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. That's awesome. And he says, I'm late, but I made it tonight. I'm glad you made it. Glad you're here, Jeff. Yeah, Roger says he heard the owl too. Now it's gone. I opened the door and it's not doing it. Let me just look at this a second. Okay, so I don't understand why it's showing up. It's under movie file. Huh. This PC. Man, I really want to show that, Nick. I really do. Let me try this one more time. That's not it. I don't understand why it's not going to my direct downloads. And I don't have any other options. It shows it as a PC file, but it's not giving me a route to get to it. Nope. Nope, that's not it either. I don't understand why it's not. Yeah, all these are older files. I'll have to figure it out later. So Nick says he sent a screenshot, I think. That'll have to do. That will have to do, Nick. What I can do, I'll try to get that file downloaded somehow and try to get it on here. So it might be next week. It's not even wanting to. There it is. Okay. There we go. That's what I wanted to show you. Man, that thing looks bad to the bone, Nick. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to go back up through the comments. So Nick is setting you up. He gains your trust and sends a triple X of him. No, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't do that. The Dutchman's Wood Shack says howdy. Howdy, Dutchman. Glad you're here. Man, I don't want to pull that picture down, but I'm going to have to. That's a sharp looking car, Nick. Awesome. Let's see, Richard. Of all the bodywork tools I've ever known, a good inline sander is the best thing I have ever spent money on. Yeah, that's very handy to have. Yep. And Roger said yes, he heard the owl as well. Sorry if I missed any comments on here. I got all out of sequence. We were answering the question on plug welding the holes. Troy, I don't hear anything. The voices in Barry's head are singing again. Yes, they're out of tune too. Dave Tyson is the other Dave. Okay. Yes, and when Jeff, of course, made it, so glad you're here, Jeff, again. And now we've got some bugs flying around. I guess I can shut this door. Richard, yep, sheet metal cutout round for a plug, then a piece of welding wire to hold on to. Barry does the sheet fill trick. Yes. Yeah, the throatless shear is really handy for doing that. Believe it or not. I mean, you can just kind of like curve a piece of metal and follow the line, and it does a really good job of making that happen. Shannon and I would like to see a video of you picking up the Mustang. That may happen. I may do a video of that. I'll have to talk with the current owner, make sure it's okay with him, and maybe we could see some of his stuff too, because the guy had restored cars himself, I should say. So yeah, that's not a bad idea. Thank you, Shannon. Jack says, hi Barry, late to the game. It's been a while. It has, Jack. Hope all is well with you. I'm sure you're driving your fastback now, right? All done, ready to go? Yeah? Yeah? No? Cargo Troy, good evening. Any suggestions on what to use to make an EGR pipe? Old pipe is rotted. It's 9/16 OD, double flare on one end, single flare on the other. Can use old fittings. Brake line flare is too small. I don't have a good suggestion for that without really sitting and looking at it and thinking about it. That's a tough question to answer right here, right now. Anybody have any input for that would be great. Richard says he used to make them from transmission line tube. A company near me made all diameters so I could get the right size easy. So there you go. That's a great answer. Yeah, transmission line tube. Evan's Garage. Ooh, looking good, Nick. Yeah, let's show that again. Let's just show that again. Yeah, that car is looking really good. Troy says that is amazing, Nick. Yep. And then Richard, oh, but you can also bend your own and just weld the grind and then grind the seam. Okay, talking about making that. Rusty's nice car, Nick. Yep. Yeah, that thing's. If I can get the video, I'll get it up later if I can. It doesn't help tonight, but I'm trying. Kind of hard to do stuff like that on the fly. Pictures I can deal with. The whole video thing, I don't know why it's being difficult. And Rusty says, yeah, I agree, you should make a video picking up your car. Yeah, I probably will. Evan, got a scoot. Have a great night, everyone. Glad you're here, Evan. Have a good night yourself. And Dave Tyson says also AC tubing. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, AC tubing is pretty stout. And you could... I'm not saying go buy a piece. I don't know what you have available. Like, you don't want to go to the parts store and try to buy AC tubing without having like a. You might have to buy a line, a rubber line with the AC tubing on it, and then cut it off. Or you might be able to go to like a junkyard and just find that piece long enough to make it. Just saying. Or you may be like me and have something like that laying around that you just held on to for ever. Jack says, not quite. Life got in the way. My goal is 4 years from now. I want my son to take to his senior prom. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Doyle says, love that color, Nick. Yeah, let me just show that one more time, because that is really, really nice looking. I like the roll bar. Yep. Can't wait to see it tearing up the track somewhere. That would be cool. Artman Hydraulic Shop maybe for the EGR pipe. I got hoses from my plow made all the time for pretty cheap. There you go. Another good option. Robert says, just had a CJ Pony ad. I rarely see ads related to the video. Most of the ads I see on YouTube are for adult diapers and jewelry. Well, I'm hoping it's not. It's like anything else. I'm not saying by any means that that's what you're searching for, but a lot of times you'll see an ad pop up for. You could be on your phone talking about, hey, I'm looking for something. Next thing you know, there's an ad on your phone for that product because they're listening, But I'm sure that's not related to what you're being shown there. Richard says EGR tube can get to 500 degrees, Artman. So no on hydraulic unless you mean solid metal tubes. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a good answer on that. Roger says they're targeting you, Robert. Yeah. Well, targeting you now for the CJ Pony stuff. Says Nick, me either on the track stuff. I just want to drive it. I got it insured and plates now. I just need an alignment, and I'll take the bugs to the teeth. I was driving up and down our road with no windshield in it. Yeah, it does do a good job cleaning out all the extra stuff floating around in there. So put some goggles on though. Just know that. Clark, if you want to make Nick lose his mind, tell him the lower gap on the passenger door looks a little off. No, the car looks good. Looks real good. Richard says, just don't smile, Nick. We'll be tough on first rides. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've got that plastic face shield that I use in here now. I put on my, my glasses, whatever, and then I have that face shield. So maybe you could just have one of those on. You could paint it like a hockey mask. That way, driving down the road, you've got this hockey mask face shield. That'll mess with people. Bob Shoemaker says all the reels on on Facebook. Yeah, they tend to follow whatever you're looking. Hey, look, here's some junk. So yeah, that's the thing too. I've had I've talked before about this. I have companies that approach me. I'm talking about advertising and that sort of thing, and I get these crazy offers all the time. Lately, I've been having some. I don't know how, or they send me an email and they say we were interested in sponsoring your channel, and I'm not sure how I want to approach some of these, because if it's a product, that's one thing, like a product I can show and do a video on or use, but there's also sometimes there's ads that you do for them on your channel, as in, let's just say, I don't know what the name is. Let's just say a random video company or photo editing or something like that. So I would be making my video, and in the middle of it, pause and go, this video is brought to you by blah, 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 video and film editing software. If you need that sort of thing, here's some information. And I haven't committed to those, but it's going to probably depend on a variety of factors. So you may see something like that in the future. Just know that it's probably some company that's saying, here's some money for us to forego the YouTube algorithm, to where they have to pay to put the ads on the videos directly. It's more of a personalized video ad. And I've seen a lot of people do that, and it's part of the game. It's part of the process. So we'll see how that goes. I haven't committed to any of that stuff, but that's just something that they're trying to throw at me. Okay, Bob Shoemaker saying Facebook has ads now. Yeah, they do. Nick, I mean, it is Halloween. Yeah, you could wear the hockey mask. Yeah. Says Nick says, Clark, man, where we're going, I'll be lucky if the door stays attached. Richard, beware, some companies try to take control of a channel. Just remember, you do not need them. They need you. So never sign over part ownership like stock type BS. Oh yeah, no, that's not an option. No, I've had several companies that say, hey, we're from so-and-so media, and we want to help grow your channel, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not going to do that. Now, if I have another, like I've had the welding companies provide me with welders and that sort of thing, which is valuable. But some of these now are approaching me with like I said, this more of a me actually saying, I like this, blah, blah, here's this company, give them a shot, But I have not seen the parameters of that. But there won't be no, at this point, no sponsorship where I'm signing over anything. That's not going to happen. So thank you for that. Good advice. Troy, thinking of using that stainless bendable tube they use for natural gas lines to appliances. What connects to a stove or a garage heater? Take the outer yellow plastic stuff off and find fittings. I guess that could work. I don't know. Might be an option. Robert, I could use one of those evolution saws for my axle shortening versus doing it the hard way. Hint, hint. Yeah. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, that saw is pretty awesome. Hopefully they can hear you and go, hey, we'll send one to him. Richard, only do pay-per-view or outright cash for one-time or multi-time personal ad or review. Okay. So I've not dealt with the pay-per-view side of things. That's just, totally unfamiliar with that. Um, I have had companies offer me a product and also pay me to show their product. So that is worth knowing. Like you're saying, um, and I that's the gray area for me because I just don't know. When I do this stuff, it's all me. I don't have a lot of things to reach over to or back to and say, oh, how do you do this or how do you do that? But nothing's going to be where I sign over any part of the channel. Doyle, you should be sponsored by Dynacorn and CJ Pony. Yeah, I should be. I don't know why I'm not. That would be awesome. Richard, yeah, saying anything stainless is good. Talking about the pipe. And Clark, I work north of Newark, New Jersey. Had a customer ask if there was a way we could weld the wheels onto his car. Okay. It can be. You won't. If you never want to take them off again. Troy says, "Where's the new edition? The Mach 1 status?" Okay, it'll be getting picked up this early Saturday morning. Road trip up towards Charlotte, and got a trailer lined up. Got the Suburban running, and so we're gonna head up early Saturday morning. Hopefully, get everything in one shot, load it up, and drive straight back. And from there, it'll end up on the other side of this car. At this point, that's the only place I have for it. For a period of time, I did have this body and the crunchy Cobra Jet sitting on the other side, and of course that car's been cut up. So anyway, yeah, it should be here this coming weekend. Clark says, Barry, if you were sponsored by CJ Pony, they would probably pair you with Small Hands Woman. Okay. Tiny hands, tiny hands. Yeah, I don't know why companies like that haven't. Well, maybe the reason is I give my actual opinion on stuff, right? So I've done review videos on, this sheet metal, or these rear valance panels, or this quarter panel, or this fender. Maybe they don't want me doing that directly because I'm not going to lie to people. I'm not going to sit here and say this is the best fender because CJ Pony sells it. Here it is. Buy this fender. It's perfect. No, can't do that. And they may have seen my videos and went, ooh, we can't take a chance on this guy. So Richard's talking to Clark. That would make them fail a New York car inspection. Talking about welding the wheels on the car. Okay. Terry Keithley, maybe Fulton County Animal Shelter will sponsor you. Meow, meow. Yeah, no. No, thanks. Robert says Dynacorn doesn't really need any needed advertising. Their stuff sells itself and is often out of stock. Yeah, you're right about that. Doyle, maybe you already praising their products. Maybe you already praising their products for free. Yeah, could be. I don't know. It is good stuff, most of it. Rusty, I've seen other YouTubers say this episode is sponsored by X. Right. And I'm waiting to hear back. Like, this one company that has approached me recently, they are a photo editing software company. Now, I've done photo editing. I like to take pictures. I do have some editing software on my other computer, but I'm not against it. I don't do like Photoshop or anything like that, but I'm not against that. But we'll see what happens. if it's something like that where I can't hold it in my hands and say this tool, blah blah blah. I'm kind of just putting up an ad for them and saying so and so video editing. This is something I've tried and I like it. Blah blah blah. You know, we'll see how it goes. Richard Dynacorn will donate sponsor panels for car builds when you have enough views. Well, yeah, I don't know what that number is, but I think if you look, I don't know how many views I've had over the life. I don't know how many millions of views my videos have had, um, but I don't know. Clark Clifford. Now I have Sarah McLachlan singing "Angel" in my head. Yeah. Richard, I do not know what the number is, but I've seen a guy building Dodge Chryslers that gets panels, and the guy building Firebirds. Yeah, yeah, I don't know either. And I guess the competition, for builds, the Mustangs. There's other people doing this stuff as well. They probably don't go into as the detail that I do in most cases, but yeah, there's a lot of people competing in that sense to get your views. But I don't know. I haven't really gone out of my way to contact them directly and say, hey, blah blah blah. I had AMD tell me last year that they were going to sponsor me and give me panels for that '68 Camaro, and then they never did. They just never followed up. So that was disappointing. Um, yeah, not much I can do about that. Yeah, so that's what Car Guy Troy. Didn't you have that place? Yeah, it was AMD. Yeah, they never followed up. I sent emails. I contacted the guy directly. I have his phone number, and he, oh yeah, we'll blah blah blah, and just passed on the whole thing. So I can't worry about stuff like that. Uh, Even though I do want to um, I want to get the Camaro together and probably sell it. Get it out of here. So that'll have to happen. I may make it just go up to AMD. They're up here in Atlanta and get the panels myself. Richard, on your 69, you're going to get, or on the 69, you're going to get, make a build plan and pitch it to them, or never mind, that car does not need all those panels. Yeah, it doesn't really need those panels. I need to get the car here and see the panels they bought for that car were from like 20 years ago. And they have a cut line right here that goes around this. That's the way the panels were made back then because they were made for the 69 or 70. So depending on the panel, when I get it and look at it, one of my big things is the bottom where it curves back up. If that's not right on those panels, I won't even use them. If it's correct, I'll probably use them. So I have to get my hands on them and see what's there first. Clark, the suppliers don't want the detail. They want you to make it look easy so they can sell panels. That's exactly right. And I point that out with like the Detroit Speed. Now, not that it was difficult. You can do it yourself, and there are difficulties involved with it. But they don't show you that. Like their video is very much take this off, hit it with a hammer, and it's gone. And then cut here, cut, look, it's gone. Put this here, weld, oh, we're done. Put this wheelhouse in. Look at that. You're done. 13 minutes. But, when you start backing up and going, wait a minute, here's something to look out for. Here's this, that, and the other. Then it becomes a bigger deal. Okay. I can tell my voice is going. It's gonna be time to call it a night. Um, Hopefully all goes well this weekend and there'll be another 69 Mach 1 sitting here right next to this Cobra Jet. Hopefully. Let me see. Oh, Terry Keithley says, were the panels for the 69 repo or NOS? No, the reproduction. I believe. I believe. But we'll get a look at him when we get him here. So, um, as it is, I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate everybody being here. I will try to get the video clip of Nick's car if I can get it on here somehow. Um, we'll see how that goes. But as it is, I appreciate everybody being here and participating. If you would hit the thumbs up button, and when you see a video, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, all that thing. It helps with the algorithm and helps try to generate some money from YouTube. But otherwise, that'll be it for tonight. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.